Okay, so trusting all of our seasons, episode 14. I'm Madhiya creator.
Usman here, as always.
Thank
Just
you for
Usman.
coming back.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Yes, I was going to go solo.
I know, but then I thought, no, I'm going to be a part of it too.
Thank you. I'd requested you to start the episode because usually I get a thread of inspiration around Asr time, and I haven't received that. And that's interesting because trusting all of our seasons is a big trigger point for me.
Yeah.
Trust ke saath saath aata hai कि have patience, one trigger point. Second, allow things to be second trigger point. Third is give in, surrender, third trigger point. So ये जो सारे trigger points हैं ये अभी भी मेरे partially active हैं. So if you ask me to make inspirational videos on it, I can. If you ask for me to believe in it, maybe 12 hours out of 24, I may. But for me to actually step into it fully, I'm not being able to, not yet. I haven't been able to do it yet. But I'm getting a feeling of it. So I say a feeling because अगर मैं अपने दिमाग से सोचूं तो I get into a semi-panic attack mode when I say trust all of my seasons and give in, give up, give in. तो मेरा दिमाग कहता है ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता. मेरी बात सुने, ऐसा तो हमने सारी ज़िंदगी नहीं किया. हमने तो प्लान्स बनाए हैं, हमने प्रेजेंटेशंस बनाई हैं और हमें पता है कि हमने कहाँ पहुँचना है. तो हमने हमेशा डेस्टिनेशन सोच के चले हैं, तो अब तो हम लोग ऐसा नहीं करेंगे. तो so that's my mind talking. So I'm not sure as to like if I say these words and I may not be able to fully understand it, but I'm beginning to understand the feeling of what it may feel like. And that feeling for me is, as mostly, it's a visual. तो वो मैं visual में ऐसे करती हूँ कि so when I want to place my trust in this moment, no matter what that moment is, what I imagine myself to be is that I am standing as a being of light in a kayari of light. Okay, so on soil, on moist, beautiful, fertile soil. And I imagine these roots growing out of me and going inside that earth to anchor me. And that makes me feel like I am fully supported, no matter what is happening in my life right now. I'm fully supported in this moment. And with it, what I imagine is the spotlight that I've spoken of before, also a spotlight, which has the optimal condition of nutrients that's coming. It's almost like, so I'm a plant going through a photosynthesis process, apparently. So that visual where I'm rooted in that moist, beautiful, fertile soil of that moment, rooted here, fully supported here, and being showered with the nutrients that my soul needs from above somewhere, that helps me feel the feeling of what it means to place our trust in that one moment. And that visual came to me a week ago when I read this beautiful thing. They said, you need to, if we can learn to deeply, and I love this word, har kehte hain na, trust the moment, have faith in the moment. Maybe if we could learn to place deep trust in the moment that we're in. And I really love that. Like, that word deep really spoke to me. So मेरे साथ ही मैंने ना अपनी roots उगानी शुरू कर दी. मैंने कहा deep trust I understand. So I will like anchor myself in that moment. So for me, I'm still placing my trust का मतलब ये है कि आंधी आ रही है, तूफान आ रहा है, सब कुछ हिल रहा है, बट मैं यहाँ पे fully supported, मैं यहाँ पे fully anchored and fully nourished खड़ी हूँ. And that makes me feel good, and that makes me get the feeling of what it feels like to trust in a moment.
So roots ban gaye, or now you know that you're grounded in everything, right? At the same time, ऊपर से आग बरसना स्टार्ट हो जाए, फिर क्या होगा? रूट्स भी चल जाएंगे, जमीन के अंदर से भी न्यूट्रिएंट्स रिक्वायर्ड है वो नहीं आ रहे.
ओहो, अभी सुना नहीं है ना कि नीचे रूट्स थी, ठीक है, सो दैट्स माय एंकर, बट ऑन टॉप आल्सो मैंने फुल प्लान किया है ना, on top also there's a beautiful nutrient spotlight that's on me, so it's almost like it's like a protective, it's like
but
a shield.
ये तो एक
it's
certain season नहीं है, isn't this just one season?
नहीं, अभी तो मैं moment, अभी तो मैंने सीजन पे तो मैं गई नहीं हूँ,
एक moment में
अभी तो मैं अभी एक moment पे एक moment पे आई हूँ.
It's just one moment.
This is just one moment.
If we define this one moment, so much could happen in one moment, right? Like I once upon a time wrote something long ago, and it started with a phone call. Just one phone call can literally change your existence completely. It has the capacity to even change your DNA, right? It is like one moment has so much power and control in it. It can literally go back in time and shift everything that you thought, believed, planned, did. और आपकी जनरेशनल हिस्ट्री को भी वो अल्टर कर देता है, राइट? लाइकवाइज एक मोमेंट सब कुछ ठीक भी कर देता है. लाइक वन फोन कॉल हैज दैट पावर, राइट?
Okay, so this is what I believe in. Before we reach that moment, there's an entire momentum that's been building for us to reach that moment, whether that moment changes it for the better or forget the good or bad of them. Before this moment arrives, there's an entire momentum that we have been contributing to building through our thoughts, beliefs, emotions, relationships, circumstances. और वो हम लोग सबकॉन्शियसली भी किया है, अनकॉन्शियसली भी किया है, एंड कॉन्शियसली भी किया है. और चूंकि वी वर नॉट मोस्टली हम लोग ये सबकॉन्शियसली कर रहे होते हैं एंड वी आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ आवरसेल्व्स. तो जब वो मोमेंटम बिल्ड होता रहता है व्हेन दैट मोमेंट अराइव्स वी गेट इनटू दिस शॉक एंड ओ माय गॉड हाउ डिड दिस हैपन, वी गॉट दिस वन सरप्राइजिंग फोन कॉल, इट चेंज्ड आवर लाइफ. डूड, नाउ दैट यू हैव गॉटन दिस फोन कॉल एंड नाउ दैट यू आर इन दिस मोमेंट, नाउ लुक बैक. Did you not anticipate this coming? And I don't mean in this particular form, but through your beliefs. By beliefs, I mean, for example, through your consistent anger, through your consistent bitterness, through your consistent frustration, through your consistent hustle, through your consistent not talking, speaking your truth, always showing up for other people, never for yourself, falling short of other people's expectations. Did we not build this momentum until we reach this tower moment or this point where everything crumbles? And so the momentum has been building. It's not like one moment has the power. An emotion at a DNA level, if you look at it scientifically also, your DNA can only be transformed when it's one emotion or one thought or one belief practiced consistently. Our bodies and our minds are super awesome, beautiful creation. They're not going to be changed with one ek hawa ka jhonka hai aur sab kuch change ho gaya. It has to be practiced consistently because we're not aware of consistently practicing certain beliefs or limiting beliefs and emotions and thoughts. तो वो moment आता है तो हम लोग हिल जाते हैं. तो the entire waking up journey or what healing looks like or whatever you want to call it, awareness looks like, is जब वो आपको थॉट्स बिल्ड होना शुरू, उसी वक्त उन थॉट्स को नोटिस करना शुरू कर दो, उसी वक्त वो दरवाजा खुला कर दो.
यार इतना ध्यान कौन दे सकता है? मेरी बात सुनो. See, it took so many incidents for us to reach a point where we started paying attention to the inner. It wasn't that we were born like this, right? Multiple events happened, and frankly, I think at the end of the day, it was a dua which made it all happen. You know, the cry for help. Listen, I'm done. Help. This is it. I need to know what to do about it all. And that is when the karam happens. And the karam in my terms is कि आपको awareness आ जाती है. And that awareness primarily then guides you throughout this world and this life, right? और उसमें आप बेहतर से बेहतर बनने की कोशिश, एक एक्टिव माइंडफुल कोशिश में लग जाते हो. अब लेट्स अज्यूम कि आप अनकॉन्शियसली ज़िंदगी गुजार रहे हो. You're not aware of all the signals that you're giving and something happened and it changed everything. ट्रिगर हो गया. अब आप एक कैटलिस्ट के तौर पे वो इवेंट हुआ. अब उसने एक चेन रिएक्शन जनरेट कर दिया. चेन रिएक्शन में क्या हो रहा है कि अब सीरीज ऑफ इवेंट्स अनफोल्ड हो रहे हैं. ऑल द थिंग्स दैट कुड गो रॉन्ग वेंट रॉन्ग, स्टार्टेड टू गो रॉन्ग, राइट? फिर आप क्या करोगे? वेयर डू यू गो फ्रॉम दैट पॉइंट? फिर आपके पास तो उस वक्त कैपेसिटी भी नहीं है कि आप अपने आप को देख भी सको, ना ही आपके पास ये पावर है कि आप पास्ट में जाके उसको ठीक कर सको. उस इंसान ने क्या करना है?
So the reason why these moments happen, and that's why we go back to ये जो कर्म की आपने बात की है, why are we given this gift of awareness? Not so that we look back and feel super sad and terrified about the life that we've led, but because we know that it would have taken all of those events for us to wake up in this moment, and now from this point onwards, how am I making different choices than the ones that I've made before? So in that moment,
आपके पास देखो, if something bad is happening, I'm sorry I'm cutting you, but something horrible is happening in your life, capacity होती है to even ponder or to.
So in that moment, you don't suddenly begin to ponder. That's not the epiphany that happens. But that in that moment, the only thing left for you to do is to first of all accept the fact that you're here and you give in to the here-ness. Now, however awful that here looks like, the first moment is not pondering. The first moment is acceptance. I'm here. When you accept that you're here, that's when you begin to, and with time, over time, you begin to reflect how you got here. So once you begin to understand your own patterns, behaviors, or how you got here, then starts the third step, which is how do I now do things differently?
Mindfulness तो है ही नहीं ना. अब देखो, a person who managed to get to a disaster, सबसे पहले the very fact that you need to accept the fact that, oh, you're responsible for it.
Yes.
It's not an easy thing, right?
Yes.
It's not going to be an easy thing for most of the people, even though it's true, unfortunately or fortunately, but it's really difficult to digest. For instance, I'm a cancer survivor, right? How would I accept the fact that I caused cancer myself? Somebody went, like there was this incident at the compound where I live. The entire family died in a road accident. Only one son is left. Right? Now that son, he's 17 and he lost his father, mother, sister and a brother. And they were all going to Karachi for something. You know, the बड़े भाई का कोई USA के एडमिशन हुआ था और वहाँ पे कराची काउंसलेट में कोई उनकी कोई अपॉइंटमेंट वगैरह थी. So this kid, he lost his entire family and this happened like 2 days ago. उसने तो कुछ ऐसा नहीं मैनिफेस्ट किया था जिंदगी में एनर्जी से अपनी, या कुछ ऐसा नहीं सोचा था, राइट? और वो शायद
I'm going to let you finish that and then I'll share my point of view on it, which is a little controversial.
So, no, I agree. So I'll get to that point as well later on. You know, just want to, for everyone who's watching, because I did get a lot of feedback from the last podcast too, and I understood that the energy level which we were talking about, a lot of people were connecting with it and then not connecting with it completely. So there's a process to everything, right? So this is the first step of the process, the questions. Like when you start questioning everything. And it's a good thing to question, right?
Absolutely.
Like it's a wonderful thing to start questioning.
That's the only thing to do.
Right?
Yes.
And the moment you start questioning it, you start getting the answers too. They might not be the correct answers, of course. They might be horrible answers, maybe. Initially, you might be off a million miles, but eventually you will get there.
Yes.
Anyway, so that kid, all of a sudden is in the middle of something which is extremely life-altering, right? Like he's in a state of shock at the moment. And ये एक एग्जाम्पल है. इसी तरह बहुत सारे ऐसे और इंसिडेंट्स लेफ्ट राइट सेंटर, वी सी देम हैपन एवरी डे. Like not the emotional damages that happen, but the physical realities are so bitter and harsh at times कि आपको वो सोचने का मौका नहीं दे रही होती. So पहला स्टेप कि how would you accept कि oh, I am responsible for this, बहुत मुश्किल है. So इसके लिए मैंने एक फॉर्मूला निकाला था, and the cheat code, you know, even though the universe doesn't work this way, but just to, you know, we're humans, right? We're fragile, we're sensitive, we break easy. अगर आप इसकी reality खुल के इसके सामने रख देंगे तो इंसान तो सबसे पहले टूट जाता है, शायद हिल ना सके, you know. I mean, it's like पहाड़ नहीं बर्दाश्त कर सकते वो बोझ जो इंसानों पे. So first cheat code that I developed was कि life is passing through me. Let it pass through. ये एक moment है. So even if it's not by me, it's definitely for me. मेरे कुछ करने से शायद ना हुआ हो, लेकिन मुझे कुछ करवाना है इस यूनिवर्स ने जिसकी वजह से ये हो रहा है. आगे चल के मेरा कोई पाथ इस तरह का बनना है जहाँ पे ये जो अभी सब कुछ मैं एक्वायर करूँगा ये मेरे काम आएगा. इसी तरह you know, 10 years down, 15 years down, जवाब भी मिल जाता है, ओ अच्छा इसलिए ये हुआ था, पर उस वक्त नहीं समझ आता. बट चीट कोड ये है कि जस्ट कीप टेलिंग योरसेल्फ के ओ इफ इट्स नॉट बाय मी इट इज फॉर मी, एंड द यूनिवर्स इज कॉन्टेम्पलेटिंग इन अ वे दैट थिंग्स वुड इवेंचुअली टेक मी वेयर आई नीड टू बी. अच्छा, अब उसके दरम्यान में डिजास्टर्स भी होंगे, बहुत सारे एक्सीडेंट्स भी होंगे, बहुत सारे लॉसेस भी होंगे, बहुत सारी you might win a lot as well, you might get some, you might lose some, but eventuality तो यही आ रही है कि जिंदगी बस आप में से गुजरती जा रही है. So that's my one cheat code and it helps me stop and understand कि अच्छा हो क्या रहा है, क्योंकि डिजास्टर के अंदर तो आप में कैपेसिटी नहीं रहती. You know, अगर आपके उस पौधे को जिसके ऊपर से भी एनर्जी मिल रही है, नीचे से भी नर्चरिंग मिल रही है, उसकी आप जाके बल्ब को आग लगा दो जहाँ से एनर्जी आ रही है.
So that's my birthright. And that's why I'll come back. Now I'll share my drastic point of view. So I come very much from it happens by you and for you. For you is secondary. For you is within by you. It's almost like it's a part of, if the parent brand is by you, then the sub brand within it is for you. So it's an automatic takeaway of the parent brand. The reason why and it's a bit, it's not an easy discipline, but it feels right for me to believe that before this entire world is a physical construct. We are not of this world. We came as spirits, as souls, to experience this world. When we came to experience it, before we came to experience it, we planned our lives. Our free will was given to us at the time of our creation of our ruh, not at the time of our birth. And so in us having gotten that gift of the when हमारे अंदर रूह फूंकी गई थी और हमें वो free will मिली, तो उस फ्री विल के बाद हमें दिखाया गया ये है, not दिखाया गया, पूछा, this, when would you like to, there was an entire, it's Allah. There was an entire conversation. Dude, this is who, like, look within, look how beautiful you are. Okay, now, which timeline would you like to go into? What is your purpose? What are the events and the circumstances? It was a co-creative, collaborative, beautiful process through which we decided that Madiha Noor will be born in these many years, will go through these many, and my soul knew that my body would be capable of doing it, and that it was uniquely rigged, these entire series of circumstances for me. And because of these unique rigness of events and circumstances, I will wake up. I will wake up. And my soul,
so a person who doesn't wake up.
So my soul gave me the best possible fighting chance to wake up, because it is so unique to me. And therefore it created this unique, horrific, if you look at it from these bodily eyes, but unique set of circumstances giving me the best fighting chance possible for me to wake up. And when it did that, then from the point of view of that soul, because it's a moment, this entire world, because we're bound by time and space here, it feels so long, it feels years, but otherwise a blink, right? The soul said, yeah, we can do this, no problem, I'm okay. And so when all of these
we need to
events,
fight with that soul now. Why the hell did you agree with this?
Your
shit?
Soul believed, and my beautiful point of view in it is my soul believed in me more than anybody, anything else would ever believe in me, and it is rooting for me more than anybody, anything else ever would. And so when we wake up, and what is that gift of awareness that you're referring to? You begin to understand that all of the seasons that we have lived thus far begin to make sense. If you had, and we have these conversations quite regularly on whether if you had not gone through, it took that moment and the years that followed that moment of being diagnosed to understand who you really are, what you want to do, what your emotions, feelings, behaviors are, and how you now would like to live your life. You feel like it was happening for you. Of course, it's always happening. It's your soul. Of course, it's happening for you. But it's also designed by you. And when you take that responsibility, and I know that you've said this a couple of times to me, it's like you're so strict with yourself, like loosen up, just so strict. The thing is, Usman, I do take my responsibility very seriously, because if I was not given this gorgeous, big, amazing gift of free will, then the big consequences like Jannat and Jahannam would not be attached to it. If my gift was small.
Sure, मान लिया. लेकिन अगर एक side पे you're saying that the soul knew the journey and then it brought itself to the point, then automatically it's going to take you to Jannat as well, right?
Sorry?
Automatically it's going to take itself to Jannat as well.
Another episode, because now we're going into the Jannat Jahannam territory, would be another episode, because I don't believe that that's an end point or a destination.
Of course not. I believe that too. It's not the end. Of course it's not.
That's another conversation.
Sense. But coming back to the fact, why do I project this side of human experience so much? 5 मिनट के लिए बस assume कर लो कुछ नहीं पता, कहाँ से आए हो, कहाँ को जा रहे हो. Ignore all the things that you've heard. Normally that's what we feel, right? Literally nahi pata. We have guesses. Somebody said something, we believed in it. मान लिया, समझ लिया,
अब
देख
हम
लिया,
सोए भी बात कर रहे हैं.
हाँ नॉर्मल बात करें ना, जस्ट नॉर्मल, लेट्स अज्यूम
My normal is very like now it's super different, right?
बट
So
एक मिनट स्टेप बैक करके
okay,
पीछे आओ,
okay,
ठीक है?
okay, okay. Let's
Think
play
of
this
yourself
game.
as a kid who is in the teenagers और अभी जिंदगी को डिस्कवर करना स्टार्ट कर रहा है, राइट?
Okay.
अभी नहीं पता ना कि
नहीं,
अच्छा
नहीं,
क्या,
कुछ
बुरा
नहीं,
क्या है, ठीक क्या, गलत क्या, नहीं
बिल्कुल
पता.
बिल्कुल.
उसके पर्सपेक्टिव से सोचो, उसकी ज़िंदगी स्टार्ट हुई है, दरमियान में कुछ अच्छे इवेंट्स हुए हैं, कुछ बुरे इवेंट्स हुए हैं, कुछ गेन्स, कुछ लॉसेस, कुछ विन्स, कुछ बहुत बुरे तरीके से चपेड़े, राइट? बॉटम लाइन ये निकल रही है कि वो अपनी ज़िंदगी को एक्सपीरियंस करना शुरू कर चुके हैं. थोड़ी सी अवेयरनेस आ गई है कि अच्छा मैं ये करता हूँ तो चपेट पड़ती है, ये करता हूँ तो नहीं पड़ती, तो वो अवॉइड करना स्टार्ट कर चुका हुआ है, टीनेजर है. देन इट रीचेज अ पॉइंट जहाँ पे वो प्रैक्टिकल ज़िंदगी में आ रहा है, नौकरी स्टार्ट कर रहा है, रिस्क कमाएगा, मेहनत करता है, पढ़ाई करता है, अपने आप को एक सोशली स्ट्रक्चर के अंदर ढालता है. उस इंसान को, और फिर एक दिन करते 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 वो बुढ़ा होता है. बुढ़ा होने के बाद वो एक दिन, और वो उसको समझ आ गई कि अच्छा ये मैं ठीक कर रहा हूँ, ये गलत कर रहा हूँ, अच्छा मैं ये करूँगा तो इसके कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस बहुत सवियर हैं, ये नहीं करूँगा. वही फ्री वेल वाली बात ना, उसने एक्सपीरियंस करके, टेस्ट एंड ट्राई करके समझ लिया, सीख लिया कि मैं ये हरकतें करूँगा तो मार पड़ती है, ये नहीं करूँगा तो सुकून से रहता हूँ. फिर वो डर भी गया, किसी जगह पे ज़्यादती से मार पड़ गई तो वो इतना बुरा डरा कि उसने सारी ज़िंदगी वो एक्शन नहीं दोबारा किया, हालांकि शायद उसकी नेचर वही थी. फिर उसने अपने आप को शिफ्ट किया, अंदर से दिल कर रहा है कि वो डांस करे, थप्पड़ पड़ता था तो वो इंजीनियर बन गया, एग्जाम्पल, राइट? मैथमेटिशियन बन गया या मार्केटर बन गया, वट एवर, राइट? और एक दिन आया कि वो इस दुनिया से चला गया, ठीक है? अब उसको ये अवेयरनेस नहीं थी किसी पॉइंट पे, या उसको नीड ही नहीं फील हुई किसी भी पॉइंट पे कि मुझे जानना है कि ये क्यों हो रहा है मेरे साथ. वो आया और वो चला गया.
सही है.
अब कैन वी, एक पॉइंट पे क्या ये सवाल नहीं आएगा कि उसको क्यों नहीं फील हुआ सब कुछ इतनी इंटेंसली जितनी इंटेंसली एक और इंसान को, जिसको शायद 7 साल की उम्र में क्वेश्चन मार्क था एक बहुत बड़ा कि ये हो क्या रहा है.
मुझे तो ऐसा सवाल नहीं आया बिकॉज आई एम रियली नॉट कंसर्न्ड अबाउट अदर सोल्स. I am so
ठीक है.
focused on my own, and
हाँ.
so to your narrative on what it feel like, how is it that some people wake up and some people don't, and why is it that some people wake up and some people don't? And I go back to the basics of what I believe in. I feel like, and I'll take an analogy of the sea. All souls have been created to deep dive into the darkest parts of the ocean. All souls have been created. That's their point of origin. Okay, they've been created to do that. From the point that those souls are given free will, some will swim, others will snorkel, others will dive, some will walk on seabeds, and others will go into the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean that none other have. All those souls are okay. All those souls are doing what they want to do, and they're all experiencing the sea in the best they know how. So the only soul that I'm referring to is my own, and there is no right or wrong. There is no why did they not wake up? I don't know, because
my question, basically the reason why I brought this up was कि really it's absolutely about the within, right? It's not that. My point was कि एक इंसान जिसको वो अवेकनिंग नहीं मिल रही, ठीक है, would that person be able to question the soul eventually कि भाई तुमने तो मुझे जगाया नहीं? And why are those people who are awake right now full खुल के, जिनको एक एक चीज़ इंटेंसली फील हो रही है, वो लोग और उन लोगों में क्या कोई डिफरेंस है?
All souls are created in equal light, तो difference तो कोई नहीं है. But with that it's like Hunger Games. जब आप हंगर गेम्स खेलना शुरू करते हो, एज एनी गेम, every participant is given an equal chance to wake up, an equal chance with equal amount of resources, with equal kits. सबके पास एक ही जैसी kits हैं. The only difference is कि अगर 15 million souls हैं तो उसमें 15 million unique pathways हैं. उनको उसी survival kits के साथ उन्होंने 15 million unique pathways दिए. अब unique pathways में through experiences, through choices, through behaviors, हर जगह, हर maybe like I don't know 1 kilometer के साथ एक wake up call installed है. Wake up. अगर वो हर किलोमीटर के ऊपर वो वेकअप कॉल इंस्टॉल्ड है, अगर वो बंदा और या बंदी नहीं वेक, इफ दैट सोल इज नॉट वेकिंग अप विद दैट वेकअप कॉल, आई हैव नो आइडिया व्हाट चॉइसेस दे हैव मेड, बट दे हैव इंडीड मेड अ चॉइस टू नॉट वेक अप. एंड सो in that way, it doesn't mean कि अगर जो especially the person's life that you have described seems to have led a not very it hasn't led a painful life in any way, right? एक basic life जिया, उसमें कोई फर्क भी नहीं.
शायद उनको चूंटी चुभने से उतना दर्द हुआ हो जितना कि एक इंसान को छत से गिरने से.
Good, so that means that he or she that soul was given a wake up call. मतलब उनकी जो भी दैट मोमेंट और सर्कमस्टांस इज यूनिक टू दैट सोल ना, तो हमें वो शायद छोटी, एग्जैक्टली व्हाट यू सेड कि मे बी उसकी इंटेंसिटी उसके लिए बहुत स्ट्रांग हो, दे डिड नॉट वेक अप.
डोंट यू थिंक कि ये एक सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ ट्रॉमा होता है व्हिच मेक्स यू एक्चुअली क्वेश्चन एवरीथिंग ऑन दिस डीप लेवल? नॉट एवरीवन अनफॉर्चुनेटली मैनेजेस टू क्वेश्चन दिस मच, राइट? ट्रॉमा हर एक का नॉर्मल होता है, नॉर्मल ट्रॉमा में नहीं करते. अल्टीमेट ट्रॉमा. अच्छा, अब द थिंग दैट आई वांटेड टू गेट दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन टुवर्ड्स, इसका मतलब है कि ट्रॉमा जो है वो अवेकनिंग से लिंक्ड है.
राइट, ऑफ कोर्स अ वेक अप कॉल.
राइट. अच्छा, अब इसका अगला स्टेप में आ जाएं. आप उसके बाद आप क्या करते हैं कि आप उसके जवाब तलाश करके आप बाहर तो भागते नहीं हैं, वापस अंदर आते हैं, मजीद अंदर जाने की कोशिश करते हैं, अंदर और तलाश करते हैं. आप इतनी माइन्यूट डिटेल्स में चले जाते हैं, लाइक यू गो टू द डेप्थ्स के अच्छा मेरी नीयत क्या थी.
Correct.
और फिर आप उसकी फर्दर नीयत को भी एक्सप्लोर कर रहे होते हैं, राइट? लिटरली आप एक अनियन को पील करते जाते हैं, रूट तक जाते हैं, रूट के बाद ज़मीन भी खोदते हैं, ज़मीन खोदने के बाद आप माइक्रो लेवल पे चले जाते हैं, माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स के लेवल पे आप चले जाते हैं. वहाँ से आप कुछ ना कुछ चीज़ें हिलाना स्टार्ट करते हैं, राइट? आपने हिला ली, बाहर आपको रिजल्ट्स नज़र आना स्टार्ट हो गए, ठीक है? आपने रिजल्ट्स देखे तो आपने और इनकरेज होके मज़ीद थोड़ी सी चीज़ें हिला ली. इवेंचुअली क्या होता है कि आप एक स्पेस में आते हैं जहाँ पे बाहर जो कुछ हो रहा है और अंदर जो कुछ हो रहा है वो एक हो जाता है. आपका अंदर और आपका बाहर एक एब्सोल्यूट डॉट पे आ जाता है. मुझे लगता है ये, I mean, people might not like the sentence, but वो जो बुल्ले शाह ने कहा था ना, एक नुक्ते विच कल मुक्ति.
That's exactly it तो.
मुझे लगता है वो ये नुक्ता था, डॉट. इस नुक्ते पे कि आपका अंदर और आपका बाहर एक हो जाए. अब अंदर बाहर एक करना यार बात बड़े मजे की लगती है और सुनने को भी बड़ा अच्छा लगता है,
कूल लगता है,
राइट?
राइट,
है ना, पीछे गाने चल रहे हैं ऊंचे लाइक समरसॉल्ट्स हो रही हैं, चीयर लीडर्स लगी हुई हैं, राइट? बट इन रियलिटी ये एक बहुत बड़ा प्रोसेस है.
करेक्ट.
आई थिंक मुझे फ्रैंकली अब ये लगता है कि जैसे मैं पैदा हुआ, मेरा सोल से कोई मिलियंस ऑफ ईयर्स अगो पैदा हुआ, बिलियंस ऑफ ईयर्स अगो, शायद टाइम कैलकुलेट भी नहीं कर सकते. फिर मैं इस दुनिया में पैदा हुआ, फिर मैं एक दफ़ा मरा, थोड़ी सी दोबारा आफ्टर लाइफ स्टार्ट हुई और मुझे थोड़ी सी अवेकनिंग हुई और थोड़ी सी रियलाइजेशन और रियलिटी खुली. फिर एक और पार्ट ऑफ मी डाइड एंड देन इवेंचुअली आई रीच्ड अ पॉइंट वेयर ऑल ऑफ मी, जो कि एक मैंने फॉल्स ईगो का उस्मान बनाया हुआ था, हम सारे बनाते हैं अपने डिफेंसेस के लिए, वो पूरे का पूरा शैटर हुआ. बहुत शदीद तकलीफ आई. फिर अपने एक एक पार्ट को दोबारा जोड़ना पड़ा है ना, जोड़ते गए, फिर दोबारा अंदर गए, दोबारा ठीक किया. हैविंग सेड ऑल ऑफ दैट, सब प्रोसेस है, सबको करना पड़ता है. अनफॉर्चुनेटली करना चाहिए. आई थिंक दिस इज अनफॉर्चुनेटली बिकॉज इट्स वेरी टफ.
इट इज.
It's not an easy or it's not a glamorous journey. It's not. Illat killat zillat. Do whatever the hell. That's it. That's where it starts and that's where it ends. But reached a space where I realized कि अच्छा, इस प्रोसेस को आप अपने हिसाब से, अपनी मर्जी से, अपने दिल के हिसाब से, अपनी कैपेसिटी के हिसाब से भी चला सकते हैं. कोई इतना बड़ा जहाद करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है कि बस सुबह दोपहर शाम आपने उठाई हुई है, बिल्डोजर्स पकड़े हुए और आप जा ही जा रहे हैं अंदर. Calm down, relax, allow yourself to be a human too. Humans will be ignorant.
Sure.
So stay ignorant at times.
Okay.
Humans will be indifferent at times.
Acha, completely agree with all of this. I do. For me though, it's so freaking interesting the inside part of me, I'm so freaking intrigued that I'm fascinated with I.
Of course.
I'm fascinated with I. And what may look like a jihad, and it may also be jihad. I really hope so, because if this fascination, and that's the beauty of it, if this fascination with my own inner world is equal to jihad, I'm like, dude, I'm in. So the pleasure that I'm getting, because Usman, there is the moment of realization is beautiful for the fact that everything finally makes sense. Everything about you, your own behaviors, things, because I recall those moments, in those really, really awful, dark moments, when there would be a voice inside me, it's like, Madhya, what the hell are you doing? It makes no sense, it makes no sense, it makes no sense. And now, in this moment, all of such moments, and there have been trillion, finally make sense. So the falling in love with the waking up of me is heady. It's intoxicating. I mean, I'm at that point right now.
It is intoxicating, of course.
And so now that I'm showing up in my everyday experiences, to see myself repeating those patterns, and then being aware of the fact while I'm doing that, and saying, no, thank you, I don't want to do it. My God, this is what freedom and power feels like.
Sure.
And I've shared that with you also, right? Because I caught myself trying to use some of my olden tools that I've used from my earlier life. And usually आपको retrospect में पता चलता है, मुझे उसी वक्त समझ में आ गया मैं इसलिए कर रही हूँ. तो वो जो moment है ना, that for me, if it's called jihad, that's awesome. But for me, that moment is beautiful. And I don't know, I don't know what the next, मुझे नहीं पता कि मैं सारी जिंदगी यही करते रहूँगी. I'd like, because I know exactly what you said कि हम लोग forgetful हैं. अच्छा, tell me.
इसके आगे एक और स्टेप आता है और वो काफ़ी इंटेंस होता है. उसमें अभी तो आपको बहुत मज़ा आ रहा होता है ना अपने आप से कनेक्ट करके, बिकॉज अच्छी अच्छी चीज़ें नज़र आ रही है. पहली दफ़ा इंट्रोडक्शन हो रहा है, हेलो I'm Madhya, हाय उस्मान, आपको फील हो रहा होता है.
अच्छी चीज़ें यहाँ पे कौन सी हैं भाई? मतलब डीमंस, सारे आपकी ओल्ड नेमेसिस, आपके जो आपने बुत बनाए हुए हैं, जो आपने अपने आप को कहानियाँ सुनाई हुई हैं, वो what part of it is, I was just, a friend of mine was over before you came in, and I was saying, dude, I ugly cry most mornings. I ugly cry in the middle of the night. I'm asleep, I wake up, and when I wake up, I know exactly what's coming to my mind, and there's nothing pretty or beautiful about this moment if I were to measure it. And that's why the KPI changes, right? If I were to measure it with the human...
We're using too many marketing terms today, aren't we?
So, because this is what I see, it's all नुक्ते के अंदर आ रहा है ऐसा ना. अब वो जो बाहर जो सब कुछ मिला है, वो terminologies के ऊपर apply हो रही है. So, क्या मैं कह रही थी? तो वो अगर मैं KPI वो use करूँ to measure this moment, it's not pretty. But because the KPI has changed, because I never want to act from a place of disempowerment again. And disempowerment means blaming or giving power to circumstances, people, events to justify your behaviors, reactions, and moments. And
but isn't it so that rather than the discovery ka shock, it's out of fear कि यार I don't want to go through this ever again.
Good. I love fear. Okay, my friend Fear. Hello, my friend Fear. Are you joking? Are you serious? Yes. And you know what? And
no, I don't agree with that.
Dude, fear of not listen. The fear is not reverting because, and we've had this conversation also. Once you wake up, you can't. You just. It's not. It's like in physics. You can't go, you can do everything else, but you can't reverse energy. Therefore, you can't go back in time in laws of physics. That's the only thing you cannot do. Everything else is open for you. So you can't fall asleep after you've woken up. So the fear is not of going back.
Again.
Okay, for me, I'm only sharing my perspective, right? So you can't, you're trying to be funny. Wait, it's one of those jokes. I'm going to give you a moment.
Yeah.
I'm only going to give you a moment because it's not funny for me. So take that moment as well.
What do you mean?
Are you okay?
Just stop, right? It hit you so hard.
Absolutely.
That joke.
So shall we? Okay. Yeah. So my friend Fear, by the way, finding magic in the unknown. So it's of the next moment.
Yeah.
It's learning to trust my now season and my next season. So my falling in love with myself is not dictated by my fear of repeating my past. It is understanding what I was doing in my past, doing things differently now, and feeling scared all over again because I've never done those things before, ever
Okay,
before.
this
in
is
my
something
life.
that I can't understand.
अब आगे क्या होने वो
मुझे नहीं
मुझे-
ये समझ आता है. You know
अच्छा,
why?
हाँ.
Because आगे क्या होना है
बस
मुझे
मैं
उसका
समझाने
डर
के लिए
खत्म
नहीं
हो
यहाँ पे
गया.
बैठी
No,
हूँ,
no.
हाँ, ठीक है, but you're just sharing.
I'm sharing my
हाँ,
perspective
हाँ.
because there's something more to it too. ये तो इनिशियल फेज आ गया कि जहाँ पे आपको एक फियर ऑफ अननोन है और जिसके लिए आप एंग्जाइटी भी है, the anxiousness within you is to discover के होने क्या लगा.
I'm working on that, but है.
अच्छा.
Correct.
So for me, the fear is gone. I'm not afraid of what tomorrow is gonna bring for me. I know whatever the hell it brings, it is either by me or for me. बिल्कुल कंप्लीट कॉन्फिडेंस आ चुका है. उसके रिजल्ट पता क्या निकलते हैं कि सरप्राइजेस नहीं मिलते. Noops.
But surprises are beautiful.
Remember we were having a conversation yesterday and you were like excited about something and I was saying,
Yeah.
यार ये तो हर रोज होता है.
हाँ.
ये तो हर रोज होना होता
So
है.
I'm rigged differently, na, Usman. I'm like, okay, you know what my favorite dua is? And it's a dua that I say morning, dopaher, and evening. And it just makes my heart sing. It is Allahumma arzakna man haysa la nahtasab. Send me blessings from places that I do not know of. And so I am continuously anticipating a surprise from the universe. And I love that. I love rigging myself up to receive everything that my heart is now desiring. And in my anticipation of that surprise, there will be a lot of unnecessary moments that will arrive, which I will not look at as surprise. मेरे लिए surprise हमेशा अच्छा ही है. So I'm not हमेशा.
Really?
Yes. For me, it's I don't have because my experiences वो नहीं रहे हैं. I have always foreseen the worst thing that's happened. I have foreseen it happening. I understood. So I remember this colleague of mine was asking me, she said, how old was your daughter when she was diagnosed? I said, well, she was 2.5 years of age. And she said, did you know? I said, from the first moment that she looked into my eyes, at the moment that she was born, when the doctor handed me over, and I did not know autism or anything, but I knew that she was going to be phenomenally different and I better freaking be prepared for it. So I was not surprised. Surprises for me are always beautiful things which have happened.
Interesting. Very interesting. But खैर अब मुझे तो वो बिल्कुल खत्म हो गया. And I think I was having the same conversation. I think we should record all our conversations.
That'd be really creepy.
Sure, but I think those would be really good podcasts too. So the conversation that we had last night के वो जो अगर if I would have known that I reach a space within जिसके बाद वो जो एक normal up and down है उसकी intensity उस intensity से feel होना बंद हो जाती है. I probably would have stopped there because I think this is really human. ये जो एक आपका raw human emotion है ये बहुत important है. Also, I'm bringing ourselves back to the start where I said कि people who don't know how to connect or how to start, lots of questions came in. Lots of people said कि okay,
nobody asks me these questions. Okay,
Well,
that's probably because your fraternity tuned in and my
Whatever.
fraternity is like whatever.
So
But also I'd like to look at some of those questions.
Yeah, sure. I'll
perhaps.
forward them to
Thank
you. So the questions primarily were, okay, so you discussed your journey and you were talking about the middle and the end part. So we felt the energy, but we don't know how to start. We want to. We want to know who we are because obviously दर्द तो सबको हो रहा है. तकलीफ में तो सारे हैं. अपने आप से कनेक्टेड नहीं रहोगे तो तकलीफ तो होगी. अक्सर होता है ना, I don't know why I'm feeling bad.
Yeah.
अक्सर होता है ना कि I don't know why my heart is sinking.
Yes.
अक्सर हो रहा होता है कि अच्छा पता नहीं मैं खुश क्यों नहीं हूँ.
Yep.
The only reason is कि you're not connected with yourself. That's it. The moment you connect with yourself, ये सब चीज़ों के जवाब आ जाएंगे और सुकून भी आ जाएगा बहुत हद तक. So lots of questions were coming. Now, what made you start this journey with yourself? What brought you? What
Are you
point?
asking me a question?
So the question, because see, this is how then I would share my part as well, and then that would basically
And for
take
the
us
next
to the
podcast, we'll also exchange seats.
Let's do that. Sure, Anna.
Because like question answer.
No, but the reason why I'm saying that is because then it would bring us to the subject matter,
You're right. Yeah.
the moment, the anxiety of the moment and not feeling that anxiety anymore, trusting the process primarily.
For me, thank you for asking this question.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't a moment, it was 2 years of being the worst version of myself that I never thought I would be. I was my self-harming habits were at an all-time high. My anger was at an all-time high. I was drinking a lot. I was doing immoral stuff. I never thought myself doing that. I was an absent mother. I was an absent daughter. I was an absent human being. And there were 2 long years of being this absent person. So until I found myself choosing to make a choice that went against every core of who I am. And after I had made that choice and after I had done that action, that is when I said, okay, something has got to change. So you have got to hit rock bottom, whatever that rock bottom looks like for you. And life will bring you there. And once you hit rock bottom, your question is, there were 2 parts of the question is, what is that moment where you realize and what do you first do?
How did you connect with yourself? What did you actively do?
There was only one question that I asked myself when I did hit rock bottom, which was, Madiha, when did you start believing that you were so unworthy of being loved by your own self or by Allah or whatever the hell you believe in, by your parents, by your husband, whoever? When did you start believing that you are so unworthy of being loved? And so I believe that the reason why we're struggling to connect as individuals with ourselves is because we don't believe. We are judging ourselves very, 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 very harshly. And we don't believe that we are worthy of being adored and spoiled rotten by a being who is not judging us, who is not judging us. So we connect by disconnecting from the religious beliefs, the familial beliefs and the societal beliefs that have been imposed on us, that have taught us to believe in an angry, punishing God, a judgmental God who's going to throw you in hell. It is not true. So your first moment of connection lies with the fact that this is not the version that I've been told. The being who created me adores me in this freaking moment where not another human being would want to touch me. I am being worshipped and adored and spoiled rotten by this God. Now, how do you feel that feeling? That is the karam. Because you don't feel it on your own. That is your parents' dua who've seen you in pain, your friends' dua who've seen you in pain, और some राह चलते को आपने 10 रुपए बगैर सोचे दे दिए, पर दिए इस तरह से कि आपका दिल, लाइक वो 10 रुपए नहीं थे, आपने अपने दिल दिया, आप अपनी प्यार दिया उसको, वो किसी का करम है. और उस and to earn, so if there was a formula for earning that karam is, if there is any earning to be had, if you believe that you're not worthy of receiving something just because you are the way you are, you should earn it in some way. Because I think as much as possible, try to do something against your biggest weak point. So my biggest weak point was my zaban, my ghussa specifically, my biggest weak point. And there are some moments in my life when I have really, really held myself back and let it go. And it has really benefited other people. So maybe for that one moment, in that million moments, when I chose not to fall into my weak point. I don't know how I gathered that. So that's karma, what other in common speak. If you can, whatever good you give out comes back to you. And it comes back to you in that moment that you most need it, as a reminder in your deepest, darkest place that you are worthy of being loved, even if you don't believe it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so very much. And honestly speaking, I think this is primarily how it starts for everyone, right? Moment of realization. I think वो जो lowest moment of your life होता है वो basically lowest moment नहीं होता. लग रहा होता है, तकलीफ बड़ी generate कर रहा होता है. I call it the moment of truth and I call it the biggest moment of karam. जब आप सबसे ज़्यादा तकलीफ में होते हैं उस टाइम पे basically that is when you are closest to yourself and that is when you're the purest and whatever you feel and say is absolutely true. वो गुस्सा भी किसी जगह से आ रहा था, right? तकलीफ भी किसी जगह से आ रही, कोई रिएक्शन था, right? कोई जर्नी था, कुछ था. For me it was the other way around. It started just like that. So I remember back in the day I was like a kid, 16, 17 शायद, and बहुत जोर की शॉक चढ़ गया to understand God. शॉक. तो एक इंस्टेंट गो टू रिएक्शन होता है कि नमाज स्टार्ट कर दो. नमाज स्टार्ट कर दी, नमाज पढ़नी स्टार्ट की, तो वो एक हैबिट बन गई. हैबिट बनी तो मैंने कहा ये हैबिट क्यों बन गई, पता तो चलूँ पढ़ क्या रहा हूँ. अगेन दिस लाइक 16, 17 and understood the meaning of namaz, right? और उसमें one line, उन लोगों का रास्ता जिन पे इनाम हुआ. Oh God, this hit me hard. Like अभी मैंने सिर्फ कुरान खोला है और पहले पेज पे like oh my God, who are these people? ये कौन लोग हैं? And then कहीं से दिल के अंदर से कोई दुआ शुआ निकल गई कि I want to be these people, one of these people. I don't want to die जो इसके बाद वाले लोग आ रहे जिन पर ग़ज़ब नाज़िल. I don't want to be one of those. I want to be this kind. And then बाकी सारा कुछ जो है वो ऑटोमेटिकली होता गया. Kept on meeting people, kept on doing things in life. Instantly अपने अंदर की आवाज़ हमेशा से फील होती थी, अच्छा ये ठीक है, ये ठीक नहीं है. हर चीज़ को सवाल करने की आदत हमेशा से थी. फिर दरमियान में लोएस्ट ऑफ द लोज प्रोसेस के तौर पे आते गए. They were not my triggers, they were not the catalysts, but they kept happening. Highest of the highest BI. And funnily enough, वो जो पहला वाला पार्ट था ना जिसमें अपनी ज़ात से इंट्रोडक्शन हो गया हुआ था, कनेक्ट हो गया हुआ था, वो इट स्टेड कॉन्स्टेंट थ्रू आउट. तो जब लोएस्ट ऑफ द लो आया और जो हाईएस्ट ऑफ द हाई आया, दोनों में फ़र्क कोई नहीं था. I was the same Usman. So if you were to meet me when I was at the lowest point of my existence, I was the same Usman. And if you were to meet me at the highest point of my existence, I'm the same Usman. This is who I am. So मेरे लिए वो आसान हो गया. But सिर्फ one line was the trigger कि उन लोगों का रास्ता जिन पे इनाम हुआ. Not claiming कि मेरे पे इनाम हो गया, ये इनाम होता है. All I'm saying कि एक दुआ constant जिंदगी का हिस्सा बन के हर पार्ट के अंदर शामिल होके उसके अंदर शामिल रहेगी till I die.
I think this is beautiful. You call it dua, and if you again were to look at all the other people who talk about where it first begins, it always does begin with niyat, or what they call in English the power of intention. The first step ever is you place the intention of I want something, whatever that intention may be. So for you, it was you wanted to be a part of those jinke par inam hua. For me, it was I want to find myself to be worthy. I want to find myself to be worthy of being loved, no matter what I'm doing, no matter where I am. Teach me, show me that I'm worthy of being loved, no matter what, and that I'm not being judged at my lowest point. Show me how loving you can be. And so my power of intention was, and I it was a challenge. At that time, I was like, I feel dirty, but I feel like you love me so much. I don't really I feel a feeling of it somewhere, but I'm not being able to feel it. Show me. And it's taken me, that was 2015. So since 2015, it's taken me all these years to now, even now, like maybe a month ago. Actually, ये नहीं है कि कोई point आया. I've been feeling the love for quite a bit in pockets, but I'm beginning to get more comfortable in being loved. And I'm beginning to get more comfortable in feeling worthy, whether I have anything or not. So the
How do you mean anything or not? What do you mean by that?
Anything or not, dekho, being human is also to have desires, a multitude of them. And over time, what I had been taught is that you're worthy if you have this.
Conditions of worth, yeah.
Yes. तो वो conditions of worth जो है वो unlearn किए हैं. And conditions of worth unlearn करने का बहुत बड़ा factor also is the condition of having to work like a dog to be able to prove yourself. And I don't mean just in your professional capacity, in your relationships. And it's like, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to do it. So the fact that I can rest and receive more as opposed to run and receive more. So that flip belief of worthiness is something that is very dear to me, and that is what I place the intention for as well. So the first step is, and I remember there was a one of your friends' conversations that you were referring to after a podcast, and they were saying, you know, I feel this pain, where do I begin? Well, you begin with the irada. And the irada of that I feel there's something different. Whatever that irada may be, I want to experience it, show me, and then be ready for it. And then don't judge circumstances. Don't judge circumstances. I think that's the second step. When we place the irada, and this happens for me as well, right? मैंने इरादा किया है ABC चीज़ का, और बिकॉज मैंने उस ABC चीज़ का इरादा किया है, तो अब मेरे पास बिकॉज दिमाग है, और बिकॉज हम लोगों ने तो पूरी पिक्चर बोर्ड खेला हुआ है, तो हमें तो पता है कि वो चीज़ हमारे पास कहाँ से आनी है. लेकिन उससे मिलती जुलती कोई चीज़ तो हो ही नहीं रही ज़िंदगी में. सो हम लोग हर सर्कमस्टांस को फिर जज कर रहे हैं कि अब ये हुआ, दैट मीन अच्छा नाउ 15 things are happening in your life. You have placed your irada. 15 things are happening in your life which are not only nothing to do with your irada, in fact are going against every aspect of your irada, and you're like, see, मेरा तो irada होना नहीं है. That's not what we do. That's not how we place this. And that's why trusting every season of your life, that's what it comes to. आपने अपने इरादा कर लिया, so let it play out.
That's how it should be, right? So, hence trusting the process, right? Hence trusting the moment. Hence trusting the energy that you produce and you bring about and you live. Ups and downs, good, bad, khushi, ghami. Sab kuch is you.
Bilkul.
Right? So, why do we like one aspect of life and not so much the other one?
Yeah, that's what at least for me, that's what I'm learning to unlearn, which is judging emotions.
But इसके साथ साथ बहुत important factor, इंसान भी तो रहना है.
बिल्कुल. हाँ, तो अच्छा, so after the 2-night before conversation, so after the 2-night before conversation that you were having, तो मैंने एक नया इरादा अपने अंदर इंट्रोड्यूस किया ना, सुबह की इंटेंशन में. बिकॉज सुबह तो मेरी ऐसे बाहर की तरह शुरू, ऐसे क्वीन मोड के क्या कोई जन्नत के दरवाजे खुले होंगे जिस तरह मेरी, क्योंकि मैंने तो अपने आप को पहले रूह इमेजिन किया, फिर एंकर भी किया, फिर न्यूटन से ऊपर वो भी आया, फिर पूरी यूनिवर्स को मैंने एग्जामिन भी किया, अपने पर भी देखे, मैंने कहा खूबसूरत झिल्लर मिलर नीचे जो खूबसूरत. अच्छा जी, अब ये जो खूबसूरती ने जब जिंदगी में दुनिया में जाना है, तो द फर्स्ट इरादा दैट आई हैव, द न्यू irada that I've introduced is I'm going to allow myself to be human. So I am going to, earlier my irada was I will appear as divine in my everyday life, and I choose to look from the eyes of divine to another because all of them are divine, right? So that was my first irada, and in doing that, it was just very, very, very hard, and I was judging myself very, very, very harshly. So I really have enjoyed now introducing this new balance as a human being. It's like, excuse me, Allah Ta'ala, divine to aapke liye. I'm like, going to try to be human a little bit. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to allow myself, while I place the intention of showing up and looking at the world through the love of divine, I also allow myself to be human.
Absolutely.
And may the best guy win. No, I don't do that. But it's helping.
Now the human part, the more real, the actual existing, physical part.
More real तो नहीं है, but हाँ, actual existing.
नजर आ रहा है, right? हाथ लगाओ तो कुछ हिलता है, right? That's that kind of reality. Like all the senses are involved. It's that real, right? उसमें तो सिर्फ दिल चलता है ना, उसमें तो एक अंदर की रूह से कनेक्शन चल रहा है. बट ये बहुत नज़र आ रहा है. हाउ टू गो ईजी ऑन दिस, हाउ टू बी गुड विद दिस. एक रूह को तो हमने ऑल पास दे दिया कि तुम तो कहीं बहुत बड़ी जगह से आई हो. ये जिस्म जो है ना,
नहीं,
ये
अभी तो नेक्स्ट स्टेप शुरू हुआ है ना. तो नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज एंकरिंग इट. नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज दैट कमिंग टू दैट नुक्ता वेयर ज़ाहिर एंड बातिन कम टू वन पॉइंट.
it has to become one, and then the entire focus comes to the part where you just be a human. That's it. फिर आप एक प्रॉपर इंसान बन के जीना शुरू कर देते हो.
That'd be cool. I don't know what that feels like, but that'd be nice. I feel like I have a good feeling about it.
Yeah.
I have a good feeling about that one.
I'm so happy to hear that you have a good feeling.
I do. I'm looking forward to it.
शायद दुनिया में सबसे प्यारी चीज अगर एग्जिस्ट कोई करती है तो वो एक इंसान है. हर इंसान है, और उस दुनिया के लिए बना है, उस दुनिया में आया हुआ है, और इस दुनिया के अंदर से, उसके अंदर से जिंदगी गुजर के जा रही है. रूह भी उसमें टेम्परेरली आई हुई है. चली जाएगी ना कुछ अर्से बाद. फिजिकल बीइंग विल स्टे हियर, राइट? इंसान as we know it, as we are, you, me, I, इंसान, अब उस इंसान को हम जिंदा ही नहीं रहने देते. सुबह दोपहर शाम रात हर चीज़ पे उसको भी हमने डंडे लगाए हुए हैं. उसको भी हम कह रहे थे तुम्हारी रूह तो अच्छी है, तुम गंदे हो.
नहीं, ऐसा तो नहीं कहती है रूह.
हम अपने आप को कह रहे होते हैं ना, दिमाग से, या दुनिया भी कह रही होती चारों तरफ से, कि tell a person is alive, तब तक वो बहुत बुरा है, जैसे मरते बेचारे बहुत अच्छे थे, right?
Yeah, but like the entire point of waking up, honestly, is not to heal the world and not to make everybody else feel amazing about themselves. It is to feel amazing about yourself.
And to be human.
And to be human.
That's it. That part, the human part. कि यार दर्द भी होगा तो चीख निकलेगी, रोलेंगे, खुशी आएगी, हंस लेंगे. और जितना अपने आप को हम अलाउ करेंगे इंसान रहने पे, उतनी जल्दी हम अपने आप के साथ सच्चे भी हो जाएंगे. देखो, our need to become better is natural, right? We need to become better every day. We try to become better every day. इल्म भी हासिल करते हैं, दुनिया के कुछ स्किल्स भी लेते हैं, सोशल स्किल्स भी सीखते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं इसलिए ताकि हम बेहतर हो जाएं. एक हमारी नेचर का हिस्सा है. तो इसी को अगर आप अपने सोल के प्रोसेस से कनेक्ट कर दो, जिसमें वो भी अपनी बेहतरी या अपनी सच्चाई को जीने की कोशिश कर रही है और मैनिफेस्ट कर रही है आपके फिजिकल लाइफ में, और आपके फिजिकल बीइंग भी कोशिश स्टार्ट करते, तो ये प्रोसेस एक नुक्ते पे बहुत जल्दी आ जाता है. और फिर उसके बाद आपकी एक्चुअल जिंदगी स्टार्ट होती है. फिर आप के पास ना कोई सुपर पावर्स हैं, ना आपके पास कोई सुपर एबिलिटीज़ हैं, ना आपके पास कोई सुपर सेंसेस हैं. आपके पास सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक अपना आप है जो सुबह उठता है, एक दिन पूरी ज़िंदगी की तरह गुजारता है. उसके अंदर 150 लम्हात होते हैं अच्छे, 150 लम्हात होते हैं बुरे. 4 दफ़ा हंसता है, 3 दफ़ा रोता है, 4 दफ़ा परेशान होता है, 4 दफ़ा खुश होता है, और एक दिन ख़त्म. और आप हेयर एंड नाउ में कम्प्लीटली अलाइव, प्रेजेंट हो जाते हो. And that is what this life is all about.
I'm going to learn more about that. But I have
जितना प्रोसेसेस चल रहे हैं, जितने भी अच्छे बुरे, मैं अगर उनके इन सवालात में अपने आप को डालता, जब मैंने कभी अपने आप को डाला ना कि ये कैसे हुआ, क्यों हुआ, फिर एक सेल्फ ब्लेम आता है. उसके बाद फिर आप अपनी ज़ात के अंदर मज़ीद जाते हो तो आप अपने आप को विक्टिम के तौर पे भी देख रहे होते हो, एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ, राइट? मैंने अपने आप को ना, मैंने अपने लिए आसानी उस पॉइंट पे बहुत ज़्यादा, आई फाउंड द आसानी व्हेन आई फिगर्ड आउट के जस्ट अ ह्यूमन, आई एम जस्ट अ ह्यूमन, एंड इट्स ऑल राइट टू बी अ ह्यूमन.
It is all right.
And then it helped me to understand my moments better. It helped me understand my processes better. It helped me understand whatever was happening around me in a better way.
So it helped you to learn to trust all seasons of your life.
Absolutely.
So it's all right.
It is absolutely beautiful to be a human.
I'm just going to cap it here. It's all right.
That's how it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.